You know, our phones are just packed with apps we use every single day without even thinking about it. But what's really going on inside those little icons? Well, in this explainer, we're going to peel back the curtain on one of the most common tools in our digital lives.
Yeah, I'm talking about the QR code. This little black and white square is basically the new key to, well, everything. It's on your restaurant menu, it gets you into a concert, it even helps you hop on the coffee shop's Wi-Fi. I mean, they're literally everywhere. You can't escape them.
It seems so simple, right? You just point your camera, you hear a little beep, and boom, a link pops up. But behind that one little tap, there's a whole world of technology, of business strategy, and really clever design. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into.
So to figure this out, we're going to look at a real-world example. It's an app called QR Decoder, and you can find it right there on the Google Play Store. And on the surface, it's pretty much what you'd expect. So you go to the store page, and it promises everything you need, right? You can scan live with your camera, you can decode a QR code from a picture you saved, it'll copy the link for you, it'll even open it right up in your browser. The whole thing is designed to be super simple, super user-friendly, it does what it says on the tin.
And there you have it, the marketing promise. Effortless, fast, versatile. It's the part of the iceberg that we can all see. But what's really holding it all up from underneath the water?
Okay, so now for the fun part. Let's lift the hood and see what's really making this thing tick. Because what's powering this simple-looking app is where it gets really interesting.
And this is the big reveal, really. What you see is just the surface. That live camera scan, that's actually something called Capacitor camera working with a library called JSQR. That clean interface, that's built with powerful web tools like React and Tailwind. And the magic that makes a website feel like a real native app on your phone? Well, that's the Capacitor framework doing its thing. It's this whole stack of technologies that makes the simple possible.
The easiest way to think about this is like a recipe. The main foundation, the flour and water, is Next.js, a really modern way to build for the web. Then, Capacitor acts as this amazing bridge that lets that web code talk to your phone's hardware, like the camera. The look and feel, the frosting on the cake, that's from tools like Tailwind. And then, the most crucial ingredient, the JSQR library. That's the actual brain that looks at the code and figures out what it means.
So this whole method, this way of building things, it has a name, cross-platform development. It's a huge deal. Instead of building one app for Android and then starting all over again to build one for the iPhone, developers can write the code just once and then deploy it everywhere. It saves a ton of time and money, and it's why you see so many apps like this today.
Okay, but that brings up a really big question, doesn't it? If there's all this cool tech and all this work going into a free app, how does anyone actually make any money?
I mean, this is the classic question for pretty much any free app out there. And it's a real question for this app's developer, Washim Rahan Sunjil. There has to be a business model hiding in there somewhere. And for QR Decoder, the answer is a strategy you've definitely seen before. So the answer is ads. The app uses two main kinds. First, you've got the banner ad. It's that little strip that just kind of sits at the top of the screen. It doesn't pay much, but it's a constant, steady trickle of income. Then you've got the big one, the interstitial ad. That's the full-screen ad that pops up after you do something, like right after you scan a code. Yeah, they're a bit more in your face, but they also bring in a lot more revenue for the developer.
And here's a little detail that I think is pretty cool and shows you how much thought went into this. The app is actually smart enough to check if you have an internet connection before it even tries to load an ad. So if you're offline, it won't bother. No annoying error messages, no failed loading screens. It's a small touch, but it makes the whole thing feel a lot smoother.
So when you step back and look at all these pieces, the tech, the money, the user experience, you start to see a pattern emerge. This isn't just about one little QR code app anymore. This is a blueprint for how thousands, maybe millions of modern apps are actually built.
And a huge piece of that modern blueprint has to be privacy. On its store page, the QR Decoder makes a really bold promise. No data shared with third parties. Now, in a world where we're all worried about our data, that's a massive claim. So, how can that possibly be true?
The secret is a concept called on-device processing, and it means exactly what it sounds like. When you scan that QR code, the image, your data, it never leaves your phone. All the heavy lifting, all the decoding happens right there on your device's processor. It's not sent to some far-off server in the cloud, so it can't be shared because it never went anywhere in the first place. That's privacy by design.
So there you have it. The modern app blueprint all laid out. It really stands on three pillars. Pillar 1, efficient technology. Use cross-platform tools so you can build it once and run it anywhere. Pillar 2, simple, honest monetization, like an ad model that works. And Pillar 3, and this is the big one, earn people's trust.
Build your app with a privacy-first design using things like on-device processing. That's the winning combo.
So, look at what we just did. We took this one super simple app, and we found this entire complex blueprint of tech and business and trust hiding right under the surface. It really makes you wonder, right? What other blueprints are hiding in plain sight, inside all the other apps you use every single day? It's something to think about the next time you tap an icon.